Hello and welcome back everybody to Everlasting Summer. So, we are going to talk to our maniac friend called Lena. Let's see what she has to say. Nobody answered, the knocking on the door that is. I knocked again and then pulled on the doorknob. It's not locked. That is odd. However, there was nobody inside. Well, that means Lena's not here. I'll grab some food. I might find her in the canteen. Going along the rows of cabins, I didn't meet a single pioneer. That's odd too. It's always crowded here at this time of the day. Nobody was at the square either. Ah, curious. Coming up to the canteen, or did they already leave? No, that can't be. He didn't wake up in the afternoon, I guess. Coming up to the canteen, I started to get seriously concerned. It's time for dinner. Oh, well, then everybody's already gone, I see. But there's no sign of the hungry pioneer crowds. If only it was just that. The canteen was closed. Looks like something has happened during the day. I sat down on the porch and started to consider the situation. All the pioneers were gone, without any warning. Well, of course, it's hard to say that this camp or my way of arriving here is normal, but I hadn't encountered any completely inexplicable stuff during this week yet. There were lots of strange things, but maybe they're hiding in that bunker. I chuckled aloud. While it is all this is very, to put it mildly, mysterious, I was nowhere near experiencing a panic attack. No, it's just that they have left. I almost jumped out of my skin. Oh, that is that music. I was already wondering. Okay, Lena was standing next to me. You can't just sneak up on people like that. You nearly gave me a heart attack. Sorry, she said calmly. Now her words dawned on me. Left? Hold on a sec. What do you mean by just left? The session is over. And the camp leader? She had some business to care of in the town, so she went with them. Okay, and what about you? I stayed. Lena was talking with complete calmness, as if everything that has happened is completely normal and routine. How? Why is that? What is the problem? When the session is over, the children depart for their homes, don't they? And when was it decided that today is the last day of the session? You won't believe this, but on the very first day. Moreover, Olga announced this at the lineup. Yeah, even at those lineups that I attended, the last thing that crossed my mind was listening to the camp leader's announcement. Why didn't anyone tell me anything? I've waited for a chance to get out of this damned camp for so long, and when it finally appeared, I obviously slept through it. Well, that is exactly my style. I asked them not to. Even if you would ask not to, Olga. Hold on, what? I asked for it, said Lena with the same confidence. And what? You asked them to leave me behind too? Yes. And don't you think that is a little... absolutely wrong? I started shouting. Nope, it's perfectly normal. I took a good look at Lena. Not a single emotion has crossed her face since the beginning of our talk. It looks like the girl that's standing right in front of me is not the kind of girl that's afraid of crickets, blushes at every occasion, and reads romance novels. Okay, I got it. Looks like this situation is directly connected to my mystical arrival at this camp. Just who are you? Me? This morning I was Lena, she replied patiently. Oh yeah, and I'm Optimus Prime, born million years ago in the Highlands of Scotland. 2 references in 1 sentence. I wasn't afraid of her or anything around myself that moment. I was just bursting with anger from within. Nice to meet you. I'm Lena. Okay, now let's get serious. I think that what you're saying is frankly impossible. Today, as it turns out, is the last day. Somehow, I don't know a thing about it, and the camp leader departs with everyone, leaving me behind, just because you asked for it. Don't you find that all somewhat abnormal? Maybe I do. Are you hiding something? Maybe I am. Then spit out everything you've got. I told you already. I buried my face with my hands and took a deep breath. Okay, and what am I supposed to do in this situation? I don't know. And what are you going to do? I don't know. I'll go with the flow. Well, here's the flow. I hissed, abruptly spreading my hands. And why are you worrying so much? For the first time, a flicker of interest has appeared on her face. And how do you expect me to feel? Glad? Well, not really, but you yourself wanted it. Me? You're mad. And who said yesterday that he cares and that he wants to be with me? What's that got to do with this? I pretended not to understand, but it was finally starting to dawn on me what she was driving at. Your wish was granted. Yeah, sure, I mumbled under my breath. Well, here I am with you. That doesn't explain in any way what happened. There's always a couple of tricks that could help one succeed. And you, that is how... Yes? A smile crossed her face. Told you she's crazy. It is a bit... I hope but she has some magical powers. Oh, this is all, again, just convenience. Still, I don't think that it's just convenient, you know? I think Lena is different. And if she isn't different, that is poor writing. There, I said it. But only if it isn't like that, you know? If I'd known that you're so cunning from the very beginning. To tell the truth, I kind of liked this whole situation. Well, not really liked, but I was curious. Of course, I'm very sorry that I couldn't have escaped with everyone else. However, I'm having a tete-a-tete with Lena now. That means that I'll get a chance to see the real her. And all the answers that I was longing for could be right here, and not in some mysterious town which everyone else headed for. Okay, so what are we going to do now? We? She smiled. Yeah, we. We're the only ones staying here. The canteen's closed, and I seriously doubt that there's any food left there. Of course, Olga should return in the foreseeable future, but... what does it matter? Okay, it doesn't matter. Any suggestions? What do you want? She asked with a sly smile. I would have grabbed something to eat. And then, I don't know. Well, let's go and have something. Where to? There should be some food left in my cabin. Okay. Deal. Is she also crazy in the positive route? I can't even imagine that. That would be kind of crazy. I mean, this thing is kind of crazy. Oh, we'll see. I'm just reading now. Just reading. No speculating. We went in and Lena rummaged around in the desk drawer. Well, there are cookies. Want some? She handed me a half-open pack of biscuits. Oh, how cute. I sneered. Why? Biscuits. Like in my childhood. I guess. She smiled and sat next to me. Well? I asked with my mouth full. What? So what are we going to do? I don't know. She wistfully gazed out of the window. But what do you want? But really, what do I want? A mere half an hour ago, my only thought was to get away from this damned camp. But now, right here, next to her, something seemed to change. Well, I don't know either. Think harder. She drew herself closer and gazed into my eyes. Well, my face was blushing and my mind was racing. Not just because I was such in extreme proximity to a girl that quite clearly wants something from me, but mainly because that girl was Lena. And she's kind of crazy. She might pull your dick off if she wants to. Just saying. Well, she studied me closely. Lena, What? To say that she didn't look like herself was nothing. I was not afraid of this metamorphosis at all. Rather, I was afraid of myself. What I could do in such a situation. Didn't you want to be with me? She whispered into my ear, seductively. I did. I do. And what's the problem? You know, it's also... Besides, I have some other circumstances. What circumstances? She pulled away from me. Well, various circumstances. You don't prefer... do you? Lena laughed. Be wise now. Hell no, how could you think that? Please don't kill me. Looks like I blushed even harder. Then what's the problem? Are you sure that you want that? I tried hard to change the subject. After all, just a week ago I had my own normal life. A life where everything was strictly tied up and well organized, and where there was no place for girls. And now I'm kind of a mysterious camp with Lena sitting next to me and hinting towards something. How should I behave in such a situation? Yes. She frowned. Of course I do. What is the problem? Well, it's I was behaving like I wasn't even 17, which was how I looked, as if I was much younger. Mine too, she smiled. I had to decide what to do next. Now after the session was closed and all the pioneers were gone, I had to seek the answer. Above all, I just had to beware that this girl that could change her behavior and even her character so easily at will. But at that exact moment I was possessed by only one thought. Oh, what the hell. He likes crazy girls. Well, if you don't mind. I closed my eyes. She said nothing, just smiled and moved even closer. Our lips locked in a long kiss. Maybe this is the same, the good end with Lena goes the same way. Maybe, I don't know, we'll see. I forgot everything at that moment. I forgot about this weird camp. I forgot about the local pioneers that were in fact gone. I forgot about our wacky camp leader. I forgot about my past life and about my future, if it would ever come. Right now, the only one who mattered was Lena. Her soft lips, a warmth that poured deep into my soul, burning me from the inside. Burning you, that is probably true. I gently moved her aside. Hold on. Don't you think that this is way too, fast? Why? She smiled and looked at me in such a way that I immediately felt ready to drown in her eyes. You're sure, aren't you? I am, I whispered quietly. Whoops. And that happened once more. And that happened once more. Well, at least Semyon gets the booty even in the bad ends. Good for him. When I woke up, it was already dark outside. I got out of the bed, put on my trousers, and had a stroll around the room. What was that? Just an animal instinct? Or maybe it was something more. No, it's all wrong. Completely wrong. I'm stuck in this camp. I've lost my chances to get out of here. And most of all, I'm with a girl who probably has split personality and maniac depressive disorder. Can't argue that. I looked at the sleeping Lena. Anyhow, she's marvelous. Everything that happened between us, literally only a couple of hours ago, flashed before my eyes, and I felt shivers up my spine. Nah, I don't know if this is right or wrong, but if I could have returned back in time, I would have done exactly the same thing. I smiled widely and sat down next to her on the bed. I had absolutely no desire to wake up Lena. It was an unspeakable pressure, just watching how she sleeps. People say that sleep reveals the true face of a person. I heard a legend that some ancient civilization had a custom. Before getting married, a woman watches her fiancé sleeping for 3 nights. Oh Jesus. So, in real life I'm hyperactive, I didn't even know that. Like, I sleep like a maniac, but on daytime, I'm totally cool. Like, I can just hang around and do nothing, but when I'm sleeping, I'm rolling around and shit. And then she decided whether to marry him or not. Well, if you want to get crushed, you'll marry me. Bearing that in mind, I could confidently say that Lena's face showed nothing but goodness, kindness, and childlike naivety. Could this really be the girl that knocked Elisa out yesterday? Well, whatever it may be, everything has already happened. And I've already seen Lena like that. The humility for the first few days, the hysterics back there on the island, the rage at the square yesterday, her passion today. How can one single human cope with so many opposing personality traits? Like every human, just Lena is a bit extreme. Might it be the case that she really has a double, triple, even quadruple split personality? Nah, I don't really think so. This doesn't seem like different personalities, but with the manic depression with anger issues, something like that. Well, but I'm not a doctor. I don't know how much time I just spent watching Lena sleeping. It might have been a couple of minutes, or it might have been a couple of hours. Finally, she awakened. Whoops! Good morning. Lena smiled tenderly. Come here. She rose and hugged me. I didn't resist and plopped down on the bed. You're so wonderful, she whispered in my ear, kissing my neck. You too. But my voice hesitated. Ooh. Not a good idea. Sound more confident if you want to live. Want to do it again? She asked playfully. Hold on. I moved her away gently. You know, all this is anything but simple. When we just met, you seemed to be the one person, and you seemed to be another one. And today, now I can't understand at all who you really are. And yet again, what you did to Elisa, oh, you pushed the Elisa button. Her again. I told you she'd rip off your penis. I would never fight with her, especially not when I'm naked. Lena covered up with a blanket and turned away. Didn't you like what we did? Want to do it with her too? No, now I won't hold you back. Come on, compare us. I'll leave you her address. You can tell me who is better. Or we can have a threesome. Okay, I won't say it. She sounded like she was talking about me. She wasn't talking about me or her. Like she was talking about complete strangers. Oh, there you go again. I sighed. Whoops. Throughout today you should have realized that the last person I would think about now would be Elisa. Okay, you're right. She turned to me, smiled, and hugged me tightly. Hold on. I still have to understand. Why? I can't just simply... And yes, I do care. That's why I really need to know who you really are. I am just me, she answered in the same languid voice. My brakes started to break from all these emotions. I have to calm down somehow. I jumped to my feet and moved across to sit on the opposite bed. Fine, Lena said disappointedly and started to get dressed. Thank you. I have no idea how I'm going to censor that. Well, we'll see. I'm not asking for much. I'm not that good with editing programs, you have to know for that. Just a few answers to a few questions. And I don't really like this, pixeling all the stuff, you know. I don't really like this. On the other hand, I'm not that good with bars, and I'm using Windows Movie Maker, so I have relatively limited options. Later. It's time to depart. She interrupted me impassively. What? Where are we going? What do you mean, where? Back to town, of course. But you told me... Well, I might have withheld something. In fact, I persuaded Olga that we still had some extremely urgent matters here and will come later. How would we get to town then? By bus, of course. There are no buses here. I grinned. What do you mean, no buses? Of course there are. Route 410. I didn't know whether I should believe it or not. The situation seemed to be going out of control, but I wouldn't argue. Okay, I managed cautiously. Come on, get packed. Meet me at the square in 10 minutes. Okay. I gave up asking and left the cabin. Frankly speaking, I had almost nothing to pack. I just tossed my winter clothing into a bag and headed to the square. Lena was already waiting for me there with a gym bag on her shoulder. You don't seem to carry a lot of baggage. It's just enough. She smiled. Let me carry it. Please do. Although her bag seemed almost weightless, a bit of chivalry never hurt anyone. We were walking, and Lena was constantly telling jokes, anecdotes, funny stories, and never stopped laughing. Now I had really lost touch with the person next to me. Is she the one I met a week ago? Or the one I saw for the first time this morning? When we reached the bus stop, I took out my mobile phone and checked the time. Surprisingly, there was still some power left. It was almost 11 p.m. Isn't it a bit late for buses? Oh, what is that? Oh, yeah, right, you're stupid, asked Lena curiously. Oh, just a toy. Take it. It's a gift. Thank you. Oh, in this version he also gives her the phone. Huh. She smiled and took the phone. What can you play on it? You'll work it out yourself later. It's not that hard. Anyway, a mobile phone is totally useless here. We waited for about half an hour, and Lena just kept talking and talking. Well, I must admit that I found her stories amusing, and I felt comfortable with her. But what about the bus? So, what about... I didn't finish the sentence, as I saw the glimmer of headlights in the distance. Ah, here it is, Lena exclaimed enthusiastically. The bus was slowly carrying us away from the Sovyet pioneer camp. I just wanted to believe that we'd never ever go back. The darkness beyond the window prevented us from seeing the road, the woods, or the fields. Actually, it might be the case that they're all long gone and we're flying through a void towards unknown. Anyway, I couldn't care less for the surroundings. I just kept listening to Lena. Perhaps she had said more words than she had throughout her past life. You know, I interrupted her at last. I still don't understand. What exactly? She smiled. How come you could be so hesitant, so humble at first, unable to string two words together, and then, like this, maybe she just feels comfortable around you? Is it that important? Or maybe she's just crazy? Yes, for me it is. Well, she took a deep breath before answering. You see, I've always been the way you saw me the first time we met. I was like that in public. I wasn't able to live as I wanted to since childhood, so I put on a mask. She went silent. Yeah, still doesn't really explain that you're going totally nuts, but okay. Although, let's not get too deep into that. Lena laughed and cuddled my arm, pressing her body tightly against me. Okay, I get it. It was probably very hard for her to discuss it indeed. Anyway, I got a lot from even such a short explanation. Well, if you needed, I could have given you the... fuck you, Semyon. But still, can I be sure you won't turn into that one again? You won't retreat into your shell? Won't surrender to your anger and rage? That depends on you. Oh, yeah. Lena smiled slyly. It was just now that I realized that I'm playing a high-stakes game. On the one hand, I've spent a week in this obscure world just trying to find some answers. I have nothing to my name and nowhere to return, damn it. On the other hand, there is this girl who obviously matters so much to me. I almost didn't need to think about whether I had any feelings for Lena. I just wanted to be by her side. Look at her, listen to her voice. I liked her the way she was. I assured myself that this is it. The real Lena's in front of me. And now, when these thoughts came back about my past life, my mysterious appearance in the 80s pioneer camp, it's just not the time for such thoughts. I feel good right now, being close to her. I don't want to return anywhere. I don't want any answers. I don't want to think about what's going to happen tomorrow. If it's up to me, then I just want to believe that you'll always be the way you are now. For this is the way I love you. Then I'll keep being this way as long as we're together. Doesn't sound healthy for him? Doesn't sound healthy for you. But okay. I wonder what to... I thought this was the bad end. She hugged me even tighter. Oh well, maybe now something bad will happen. Or does he just return normally to the normal world? What the fuck's going on? I don't know how long we'd been on the road, but Lena's chatter gradually started to quiet down. She put her head on my shoulder, but was still telling me a story about a cat getting into the sleeping medicine, getting dizzy and wreaking havoc. I slowly started to doze off myself. But still, why did you hit Elisa? She looked at me closely with a serious expression on her face. I always hated that bitch. Lena laughed loudly and nuzzled into my shoulder. Great, I hate so many people. If I'd punch them all in the face... Actually, I don't think I hate any person. There are a lot of persons I dislike, but hatred is to me like... my name is blah 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 Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die. You know, that is for me hatred. Inigo Montoya, I think. Oh well. I desperately tried not to fall asleep. It's unknown what's awaiting there, after the bus's next turn. It might be a new life waiting for me, or it might be the end of this fairy tale, and I'll be buried in the coffin of the peeling walls and ceiling of my old apartment. But it was a losing battle. Morpheus has summoned legions of monsters under the command of fatigue, exhaustion, desolation, and uncertainty. I had no chance to win the battle against these four horsemen of the apocalypse, and I drifted off to sleep. I start getting the feeling that I was wrongly spoiled. Wake up! Consciousness slowly returned to me. It's like I'm falling from a cliff so high that clouds are driving nearby. The ground is coming closer, but I'm not afraid that I'll die. My fall slows down and my body is smoothly immersed into the warm ether.